Hello, can you help me? Yes, I'm moving to an apartment and I'd like my lights turned on. Fine, sure,
Thank you. Good afternoon. May I help you?
Good afternoon, I'm Florence Overload.
I'd like to have my water service turned off.
Mr. Daniel Singer, thank you.
Every organization has a public to communicate with. How effective that communication is depends partly on skills and techniques, but it also depends on good human relations.
Good morning, AGS in our studios. One moment, please.
In this film, we'll look at 3 important methods of communication. The telephone conversation, the written word, and the personal contact. We'll end our look at each method with a problem requiring an immediate decision. But instead of having the person involved make the decision, we're going to stop the film and let you talk about how you would handle the problem. Communicating effectively and courteously by telephone isn't really difficult, but you can't take it for granted. You have to work at it.
Well, one thing I would say is very important, that you always have interest in your voice. You must show that you're interested in whatever the caller is discussing.
I feel that it's easiest to communicate with the passenger if you get on a personal basis with them, and by using their name, picking up their name right away in the conversation, it helps them feel that they have become not just a client, but an important person to you.
Yes, I try to think of the customer as myself, because really I too am a customer of the Department of Water and Power, and I try to think of him in terms of, having a problem that I might have someday.
The one thing about a switchboard, and in my job on this side, they can't see me and I can't see them, but they can hear my voice and I can hear theirs.
So if you can get a personal idea of the person, a visual impression of them, then it helps you communicate with them better. I feel definitely it does, yes.
And if you listen attentively, you can determine what he's calling about, ask a few pointed questions if you must, and then in turn, turn him over to the proper party.
I think the best way to reassure the passenger that you are giving him complete information and accurate information is to not put them on hold to verify something, but I'd rather let them know, leave the line open while I work on something so they can hear that I am still there figuring a fare or looking something up, not that they've just been put on hold and left stranded.
And when a caller calls and he is angry, he's going to take it out on the first person he gets, and that is the operator. And if you can calm him down, be pleasant to him, he in turn will calm down himself, and you get your problems resolved. Britannica, I'll ring for you.
Ordinary routine situations like these are the ones you'll be faced with 9 times out of 10. However, there will be situations which don't follow a simple pattern.
Mr. Cardoso's office.
This is Shane Garth of Maxwell Industries. I'm trying to find out about the multi-breakers I ordered from you 3 weeks ago. You guaranteed delivery on those things before 5 today, and it's still not here.
Oh, sir, I'm sorry, but Mr. Cardoso doesn't handle that sort of thing. Let me transfer you to our shipping department.
Wait a minute about the shipping department. That's where I went first. They sent me to accounting, from there to marketing, and I've been to every department in your company, and I'm fed up. If I don't get them, I'm in trouble, and if I'm in trouble, so are you, because I'm going to sue your company.
Well, please calm down. If you give me some details, I'll try to help you out.
You better believe I'll give you
This girl didn't create the caller's problem, but she's being called upon to solve it. We're going to stop the film for a few minutes to let you talk about what you would do if you were in her position. Written communications of all types are designed to be clearer and more accurate, more specific and precise than the spoken word. But even though their requirements and forms are more exactly defined, there is still a place in them for courtesy, care, and thoughtfulness.
What I look for in releasing a letter is mostly factual information. If the facts are correct, then I look for the grammar.
Oh yes, we also have to keep by our desk dictionary. Anything we're not sure of the spelling, we must look it up. We don't want to have spelling errors, of course, they're the worst kind. And we have to check our grammar and everything. It goes back to a few of the rules you remember in high school, like I before E except after C. That comes in handy all the time.
I think brevity, getting to the point, maybe making it a little friendly, and just know what you want, know what your objectives are when you do send out the letter.
And I feel most letters that we receive are neat and well done. But there are always a few exceptions.
Many of the letters that go out of this office, my boss doesn't see. For example, I sign a lot of his letters, so when I'm taking dictation and there's something I don't understand, I've got to stop him because I want to make sure that I got it, that I've got it. My boss would rather that I did that to him because he wants to make sure that the final letter says exactly what he wants it to say.
It seems odd to judge an organization on just one letter, but if you do get a letter with smudges, typographical errors, strikeovers, I don't see how you could have any confidence in such a company.
Take a letter to Mr. Fred Tompkins, Vice President, Buell Manufacturing Company. Dear Mr. Tompkins, in reply to yours of the 23rd, now why don't you make that Dear Fred? In reply to yours of the 23rd, I think it was the 23rd. Well, you know, leave it Dear Mr. Tompkins. I think that's better. Well, anyway, with regard to the EKJ 24-A's, is that the number? Yeah. Which we make, which we used to make, but we don't anymore. Although I think we still have some in stock, and I think I can get somebody to probably try to get it out for you. The conversion being the same.
This girl's boss hasn't organized his thoughts well before beginning dictation. If she sends the letter out as he's dictated it, it's going to be unclear and make her boss look foolish as well.
It would give you
How would you handle this situation? It's easy enough to remember that your office visitors have come to transact business. What's sometimes harder to recall is that while people are visiting your office, they're also your guests.
I treat everyone as if they're an individual. They have their own special needs. And I try not to let the last contact affect this one.
That's the first thing. They'll walk up to the counter and they'll see you, and you want to be the picture of what they expect to see. Neatness. You're representing your company. That's so important.
Each person has something different to tell you, something different to say. And each person presents his case in a different manner. And you have to ask pertinent questions to find out just what they are driving at.
Mainly a willingness to try, to do your very best, whatever that is. If you're checking bags or a ticket agent or you're president of the airline, you want to do the very best job you can. That's the important thing.
Well, I always take my lead from the person whom I'm waiting on. If they're upset, you talk very calmly to them. You talk about various things. A young lady starting out can just listen. Oftentimes people come in here and present their problems. They just want to have someone to talk to before they get around to the problem.
Sometimes you know as soon as you see him that he's dissatisfied, and he has some type of a gripe. So you have to handle him kind of easy.
Well, I get to meet most of the people that come through the office, but when my boss is away, I'm in charge. So I try to handle the situation exactly the way he would and listen to the person and make them feel at ease as much as possible and find out what they came to the office for and what I can do to help them.
Helen, I've got to get out of the plant right away. They've had a real bad breakdown.
How bad is it?
Can't tell till I see it. Don't expect me back today.
But Mr. Van Dyke will be in 15 minutes. He's coming to talk to you about your sales proposal.
I know, and I don't want to miss out on that deal, but I can't help it. Look, I make my apologies to Mr. Van Dyke. Tell him something. Whatever you do, don't tell him about the breakdown.
Well,
and see if you can't make another appointment with him before he leaves town. I'm counting on you.
Yes, but...
On her own, facing a difficult situation with no easy answers, what would you do if you were in her place?